Kendrick Lamar just performed at the Super Bowl halftime, and people are talking about it. They're torn. Some people are saying, best performance of all time, best we've ever seen. Others are saying, I don't like that performance. He's got to sit down and be humble. You get it, like the song. But what makes a great performance anyway? Was this one of them, or was this just an elaborate way to make Drake feel like a bit of a poo-poo head? Let's talk about it real quick, because I find this interesting, so I want to do a quick little update on that. But if you've not been to this channel before, welcome. I'm Hellion.Vision. We talk about all sorts of things over here, so like and sub if you're into all sorts of things. But today we're going to be talking about Kendrick and his halftime performance, okay? Word of warning before we start, I'm a Kendrick fan, okay? So I was looking forward to this performance, but I'm also a musician. I love music and I like analyzing it from all angles. So I really want to talk about this performance and what it was about, what I thought was really cool about it. And I want to know if you guys thought it was cool or not, When it comes to music, I think good or bad are tough terms to use. Music is obviously subjective. What you find good, someone else might find bad, vice versa. We all know that, right? But there's some levels to that even I kind of find myself prying at, right? Like, say, take a song that you think is bad, right? You hate this pop song, say you hate this Taylor Swift song, but for somebody else, it gives them meaning in their life, or it saves them from a tough situation, anything. It can have any sort of meaning. Does that make that song good or bad, right? You can look at it through musicality. You can look at it through the lens of human emotion and impact. You can look at it through an artist's personal career and things like that. So even the analysis of good or bad is completely subjective. So I find that sort of interesting. And when I got online to see what people's responses to this performance was, I was a little surprised because I thought it was a great performance all around. I thought every element of it was great. I like the music, obviously, but if you take the music out, I think the storytelling elements, the theatrics, the dancing, all those things in their artistic merit add up to something that was really, really cool. So we're going to break down those individual components, but I just want to talk about what resonated with me really quick. So me personally, I really do like all genres of music. I have the belief that, anything I listen to, I can find something within it that I like, right? Might not be my favorite track, might not be a song I even like, but I can see the merit, I can see the artistry in it, I can see the effort, I can see the earnesty when it's there, and I can appreciate maybe like the drumming on a track of a song that I don't really like, or the production, or things like that, right? So, I try to avoid saying any type of music is good or bad right off the bat. So I'm not really going to be judging this performance as good or bad, right? But it resonated with me for sure. And it resonated with me on an individual level, right? There's going to be a lot of people to who this performance resonated in very specific ways. And we're going to talk about that. But for me first, I grew up being raised by my father on punk rock music. And I was in middle school during the height of the post 9/11 Bush administration, right? And I kind of view this time as one of the golden ages of punk rock, for punk and metal, actually. Lots of bands were putting out incredible albums fueled by the disgust that they felt for what was happening within the Bush administration, right? The way that lies and the media were being used to manipulate people, which has always been happening, but, at the dawn of the internet age, at the dawn of satellite television, all these different things, HD television wasn't even around then, this was a big deal for people. So a lot of these bands came out with great records. From Bad Religion's The Empire Strikes First to Ministry's Rio Grande Blood, spanning punk rock to industrial, and everything in between, aggressive music was staunchly anti-authoritarian in the tradition of rock and roll before it, right? Rock and roll was born from the rib of the blues, right? And this music inherently was born from collaboration, human unity, right? And standing against systems of oppression, institutions that wanted you to think a certain way, right? And this was going on for a long time through many presidencies and many wars, right? The Vietnam War had its own sort of music revolution during the 60s and 70s as bands were really kind of taking staunch political messages into their music. And after the Bush era, it felt like a lot of these bands sort of, I don't know, they lost their edge, or they put down the anger for the injustices, right? Not every band, but a lot of bands sort of, it made way for like metal that was a little more polished and poppy, right? Gent came along and sort of these political messages sort of kind of went to the wayside, right? And as a matter of fact, some of these metal and punk bands even got as lame as to be part of institutional conservative voices and things like that, right? Take your Phil Labonte from All That Remains, right? Who is now a like conservative talking dude on Sentient Beanie Tim Pool show, right? Very rock and roll, very metal, dude. The days of rock and roll resisting like the efforts of institutions to make them orderly and subservient to the whims of their capital overlords, those were gone, right? They were joining up on the same team. So being that's where I musically come from, it's just really nice for me to see this kind of imagery, this kind of messaging hitting the TV screens, right? Staunchly anti-authoritarian, standing against what we believe to be wrong in a way that is kind of cool, very punk rock. But I have seen voices saying, this is not necessarily representative of what we want our movements to exhibit or things like that, which is also valid, right? Any criticism you have in an artistic statement is valid because it's art in that regard, right? So I found people's discourse over this performance very, very interesting, right? Because you had all sorts of people, right? People who were in it for the tea between Drake and Kendrick, which, make no mistake, that's one of the main draws for me too. Not only do I like Kendrick's music, that beef was succulent and juicy all summer long, kept us nourished, and of course I want to revisit it every time I can. Watching Kendrick manhandle Drake at this point is like when you're playing a Final Fantasy game and you're doing overkills on characters, right? You've upgraded your weapons. It's like, yeah, I mean, I'm fighting this little like gnome nugget, and of course I'm gonna do 999,999 damage. All right, I'm a god, and I just smashed this dude up. So there's the drama element and the fact that this is a diss track on the stage of 113 million viewers, okay? That's the highest level a diss track has been taken. This is literally the highest form of insult that's ever been created, and it should be studied. I mean, comedians of the world, please take note, because like we're left with nothing but lame podcast comedians this day. Like, there's no actual good roasters. This is how you roast somebody. This is how you do a supreme roast, okay? So Kendrick is now the best roast comedian in the world as well. So that kind of adds to a little bit of the legacy of this performance. There's the music, of course. Kendrick's come out with some truly revolutionary albums. To Pimp a Butterfly was revolutionary, and while he didn't play any of the songs from that album, his latest efforts have been really, really great too. So, I mean, his music's great. It's undeniable. And one thing that I found actually pretty interesting, I work in the field of music. I do video for an orchestra. So I have a lot of people on my feed who are, musicians and orchestras or in bands and stuff like that. And I heard a lot of the musician people I work with, a lot of the artists, like not really understanding what it was about, which was a little surprising to me, because I would think that, other people in this field can at least sort of in a way see artistic statement when it's there, right? Because there was a very strong and poignant artistic statement behind what happened in this show, and we'll talk about that. We'll look at the imagery and we'll see all of that. It wasn't like every other Super Bowl where the focus is on creating spectacle around just the biggest hits from an artist's catalog, right? There was definitely a through line, a plot, a message to be said on this performance. And, I know some people have agreed with it, some people have not. So we'll kind of take a look at that as well. But let's go through this performance and see what all these moments were about and kind of let's discuss it, okay? Let's break it down. Okay, so the thing about Kendrick Lamar is he puts double meaning behind triple meaning behind quadruple meaning behind everything, right? So let's just talk about the first moment, right? Samuel L. Jackson pops up on screen as Uncle Sam, and that was pretty cool, right? So, obviously a couple layers here. We've got Uncle Sam. Samuel L. Jackson is representing the voice of America. His name is Sam, Uncle Sam, okay? So there's layers. It's layered up. And Uncle Sam welcomes us all to the great American game, and this too has several meanings, right? Obviously, the Super Bowl, it's a big game. Duh. But Kendrick put the PlayStation buttons on the field, okay? He referenced game over at the end. He put the game over thing on the sign. And that was referencing, obviously the diss with Drake. It's like drop the mic on Drake and everything. But I think it was also sort of a sort of reference to the game of America, right? The pursuit of the American dream, right? The game of media influence and control, power, things like that, right? Institutions and the way we present ourselves, the way he needs to present himself as an artist in, the Super Bowl, the way that is palatable to Americans or the way that is representative of the vision he wants to transmit, or, somewhere in the middle. It's an expectation that's being put on him to, do this performance in a way that satisfies not only America at large, but also possibly elements of his own culture. So there's a lot of meaning behind what this game might be. So Kendrick then goes into the first song, and it's not a hit. It's a snippet of a new song, right? It's not a mega hit or anything like that. A song that anybody would know. Nothing you can sing along to. And I think this is something really cool, right? Not something you would expect from an artist, and sort of sets the stage that Kendrick is here to break the rules of the game, shatter the expectations of what's supposed to be done right off the bat. After he performed his first song, he hits you with the quote, "The revolution is about to be televised. They picked the right time, but the wrong person." Obviously a play on the Gil Scott-Heron poem from 1970, "The revolution will not be televised." In that poem, the statement being made was that, the real revolution is not going to be what the media shows you on television. And Kendrick's kind of flipping that now, because the revolution will most likely be televised, most likely be covered by people with their phones, right? We use media in such an important way to communicate with each other, to inform each other. There's no way that that's not going to happen. So he's sort of stating that he's looking to bring about a revolution through this performance, right? A thought revolution, right? He wants to change the way things are done. And for people that want to see that in the country as well, that's why they find so much, inspiration in Kendrick's music and his performances at large, right? Because the message is overall, we can change the way things are going. Things don't have to be like this, but to create a revolution, you have to do something different, right? You can't be doing the same stuff. Things need to change. Now, him saying you picked the right time, but the wrong guy, I think there is a reference to him being there at the Super Bowl. That's the right time, but the nation has picked the wrong guy. We got Donald Trump again, right? So I think that's a direct message at Trump, that administration, and the extreme things that we've been seeing coming out of it, right? Obviously, things we have seen have been a step towards the direction of fascism and away from democracy, okay? As we've known it, as a way where we all get input in our future. So anybody who's out there fearing the, techno-feudalist oligarchs of the future, Kendrick feels like somebody who's saying, like, yeah, we don't like those guys. And, I'm on the biggest stage. I'm going to say something against them right now. So that kind of gets people hyped up, gets me hyped up. I liked the way that performance was going. I liked those quotes being brought out like that. I enjoyed the storyline. So yeah, we'll see if that made people feel a certain way. But, obviously Kendrick knows that he's coming out. He's not going to be putting on a performance that's for everybody. And I don't think he really even cares about that. So, the fact that people are going to not like it, that's sort of part of the performance, right? There's no art that pleases everybody. So why even bother, right? Make art that is true to yourself. Then Uncle Sam burst back on going, no, 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 too loud, too reckless, too ghetto. Mr. Lamar, do you really know how to play the game? Then tighten up. So obviously, Uncle Sam bursting out here, hearing the first few tracks and them not being appropriately white enough or marketable enough, too loud, too reckless, too ghetto, right? Statements coming from a figure that's supposed to represent America. Obviously, there's anti-black sentiment in there. Really, it's trying to depict, the systems of power demanding this person who has influence. Really what it's depicting is systems of power trying to get somebody who has major influence to act in the way that is marketable and profitable to them, but also, falls in line with what they want people that look like Kendrick or sound like Kendrick to be or do. This is underlined by him saying, do you really know how to play the game, how to, be what America expects you to be, and how to get like personal wealth, right? How to do the best for yourself within this system, how to be a major player. You have to do X, Y, and Z. And double underscored by Uncle Sam saying, then tighten up, right? The idea that however he's presenting himself, whatever this music is that he's putting out there is not good enough, right? Is not of a certain level or caliber. I also like how in the section with these three songs, obviously you have the dancers representing the American flag, but you have moments of division and unity between there, right? Like the cycles of America. So there's just like a lot of really cool things to sort of take away from even just this first half. Then Kendrick bursts into Humble, and then DNA. What else was next? I can't remember. Oh, okay, and then Euphoria, right? He starts putting the Drake diss tracks in, and that's where the drama side of this comes in. And it gets teased throughout this whole thing, right? He knows we want it. I mean, look, here's the thing: America loves drama. I don't care who you are. You love drama, okay? You just like a certain form of it. If you don't think this is drama you like, right? You like whatever the drama in your life is, okay? If you like trucks or something, you like to, talk smack about a certain truck and talk good stuff about your truck or whatever, right? If you like a certain brand of something, you talk smack, whatever. Everybody likes drama, okay? Everybody gets involved. And if you say, oh, I don't like drama, or I don't like, look into anything that celebrities do or whatever, you're a liar. You're lying. There's something that you do that is parasocial in nature, unless you just have no connection. It's a human thing. So it's not like a shameful thing. Just don't deny it, okay? But look, for us unashamed tea drinkers, we were treated, right? Because the whole diss track side of this, the whole dunking on Drake side of this is just, it's tea so pure, it would knock a Brit on their ass, okay? Like, this is the real stuff here. Obviously, their diss tracks came out over the summer, and I don't even know how there's even any debate. Kendrick won. I mean, here's the thing about rapping that I think, like, a lot of people who just like instinctively go, oh, I don't like rap, they maybe don't understand about it or like respect about it. The thing about rapping that I love so much is that it is a combination of poetry, obviously, but also, rhythm and percussion in a lot of ways, right? I'm a drummer. So when I hear a really great rapper, I'm instantly like kind of transcribing, thinking of how things are being played with the beat, right? Rhyme schemes, in certain ways kind of like translate to accent patterns and things like that, that I enjoy as a drummer. And if there's any other drummers watching, let me know in the comments below. And let me know if that's how you like kind of see rap yourself. So I think like the best rappers really have something distinct about the way they present their rhythms, right? The way they play with language. Obviously, there's the actual vocabulary, the double entendre, which Kendrick does tons of, but the actual placement of rhymes, the scheme of rhymes, these things play a big role in how I appreciate rap music. So I think, Kendrick's a master. I love, like, Talib Kweli, I think, is a master of moving things around the beat like that. Method Man, I think, is... I don't even know if it's fair to say he's underrated, but he's one of the greats of all time, So Kendrick is really great at this too, and it's one of the reasons why I love him. And I don't know if people don't appreciate that in rap music. I don't know. If you don't like rap music, tell me like why it is. If you could comment that, I would love to know. Because again, I'm the kind of person that sees something that I enjoy in every type of music. So, I find a lot of elements that I enjoy in hip hop and rap music in general, but I am always curious to know what people who don't like about rap music think of it. And then, does Kendrick just sound like every other artist to you, right? I mean, obviously there's a lot of different styles of rap, and do people conflate people who don't know hip hop or rap like conflate like a trap artist with Kendrick Lamar or something like that? I don't know. Let me know if you have any input on that, but that's kind of how I see that. Kendrick is an amazing rapper, and regardless of how you feel about how the diss tracks went over the summer or anything like that, the man has pummeled Drake into a fine paste. Unfortunately, Drake has already been the corniest dude around. I mean, look at his response to all of this here. He's coming out with the smoke and the bullet holes. He survived the shots fired. No, I truly believe that there's a multiverse, right? There's an alternate reality where Jimmy never became Drake, right? Aubrey is living a quiet life in Canada. He just enjoyed the latest Super Bowl, and he's like, wow, G. Willikers, this new K-Dot fella's really something. I really enjoy listening to his music. There is an alternate reality where that's where Drake is right now. So if you see him practicing wormhole development over the next few days or something, just don't be surprised. That's the reason why. And not only did the man just win a bunch of Grammys for a diss track, which is nuts, but now he's doing it at the Super Bowl. He got the whole crowd screaming A minor. Unbelievable. Music theory at the Super Bowl. Never thought I'd see it. Okay, though, we're getting ahead of ourselves. We didn't even get to the actual diss track part yet, right? We've just kind of got the first of the little diss tracks here, right? That's all. This is just a little taste of what's to come. Next, Uncle Sam makes his rounds again as Kendrick and crew are hanging out underneath the lamppost in the next section. Samuel L. Jackson says, "I see you brought your homeboys with you." Now, I think when Samuel L. Jackson's delivering that line, the cultural cheat code line, I think what he's saying is, this is sort of like America viewing Kendrick's ability to reach out and connect with a lot of different people and a lot of different cultures through his stories of, struggles that a lot of people go through. I think that's what's kind of being referenced as this cultural cheat code, right? Kendrick's ability to get underneath what is supposed to be expected of an artist to deliver something that is still subversive on the biggest stage in America, right? Like, you're supposed to act this way, you're supposed to look this way, but Kendrick's ability to connect with millions of people makes it so that he can kind of cheat code his way into these big cultural moments to make a statement, right? And so he deducts one metaphorical life from the situation, right? He's making the rules and he doesn't like how Kendrick is playing the game, right? So he wants to cut that down. Then we get our first, very juicy taste of Not Like Us, because we know he's going to play it. Everybody wants him to play it. And you get it in this little section where he's saying he wants to make a move for sure, but they love to sue. And he's taking a direct jab at Drake and their record label for them trying to sue Kendrick over Not Like Us, saying that the song's accusing him of being a P3DO when there's no concrete evidence of that necessarily. But, nobody buys it. Just the thing is, Drake is such a cornball. Nobody wants to even buy that. And the song is so good where everyone's just rocking it. So, suing is just, I don't know, man, it's a lame move. Like, you lost a diss track. Here's the thing. Drake just has to stop. He has to stop at this point. You don't even have to, say I took an L or whatever. Just stop. Stop talking about it. Do your thing. You have a lot of money. You could do your thing and just move on. But what makes this drama so good is that he just won't. And, for some reason, the people who love him just can't, for some reason, see that he's so clearly lost this. And to add injury to insult for Drake, I mean, DJ Academics, his, Glaze aficionado #1, just got busted chatting weird stuff on Fortnite with a 15-year-old. So it's like, the company you keep, the people that you love to hang out with, there's a reason why people got an image of you. So, you should probably stop talking if you don't want people to keep dunking on you. But I hope he does keep talking, because it's just so juicy. Why, Kendrick is a mastermind of dangling this dude like a little mouse, and he's swatting him around like a cat, okay? Like, it is insane. I mean, just imagine this, okay? Imagine your dad does this. Your dad writes a diss track about another dad, right? And he's like, I'm the best rapper, and that dude's lame. And you're like, yeah, Dad, you are the best rapper. Then that dude comes out with a diss track, and it's pretty damn good, right? It's better than yours. So you're going to have to, send one back. This goes on and on for a minute until the other guy is really, saying some stuff. Like you may have pushed him a little far, and now he's talking directly to your family, right? And he's telling them why you were a disappointment, okay? Now, you probably should have stopped there, right? You probably should have stopped after Meet the Grams, because that was rough. But he didn't, right? He still was like, no, I'm cool. I'm gonna put another one out, and then you get Not Like Us, and then what happens? Not Like Us happens to you, okay? And it's just, there's never been. This is the biggest ratio of all time. This has to be. Science needs to study this, okay? So again, put yourself in the shoes of one of Drake's kids, okay? Because there's videos online all over the place. Little kids at parties just singing A minor. Like, everybody's dunking on this man. Children are dunking on this man. You should stop now. The Super Bowl was enough. Just don't respond to anything. But again, put yourself in the headspace. That was your dad. Can you imagine your dad doing that? That'd be some crazy stuff, right? I just can't imagine it. That's why it needs to be studied by science. It is a mind fuck. It really is. All right, so after getting us, a little excited there, he brings us into the slow section, right? And we get the hits, right? We get Luther, we get All the Stars, and Samuel L. Jackson comes back out again, and he's like, yeah, that's what America wants, okay? The nice calm music, right? The pop music. All the Stars was from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, right? Marketable, okay? That's what America at large would like to see in an event like this. So Samuel L. Jackson saying nice and calm, just wrap it up, don't mess anything up, and then bam, we're going to get hit with Not Like Us. And it's, man, watching this, yeah, it's hyped up, man. It is so hyped up. It is so good. I really, really, the song is so great. It's so simple, but just so good. And the biggest winner in this whole thing, DJ Mustard. DJ Mustard has risen to legend status. So now we get into Not Like Us, and Kendrick, he does it with the theatrics, man. So there's this little intro where he makes a reference to Pimp a Butterfly, right? Where he was referencing 40 Acres and a Mule. This is bigger than the music, he said. So 40 Acres and a Mule, obviously a reference to Pimp a Butterfly, but also a reference to what slaves were promised after the Civil War, right? 40 acres and a mule, right? This was sort of reparation of sorts, a promise that never came to pass. So anyway, Kendrick dives into Not Like Us, and at the moment that everybody loved, and I love it, goosebumps. This man, when he says, "Hey Drake," looks directly into the camera with a little smile. I mean, that's it. I mean, that is it. I can't even, come on. This man should be teaching petty lessons. Look at this face. Look at this face. This man is Puck. This is Puck from A Midsummer's Night Dream. Little punky instigator. This is a fire starter, okay? I love it. How can you not? Oh. And Not Like Us, Serena Williams comes out to do the Crip Walk. I mean, that's awesome. Dude, this is so cool. And for those of you who don't know, Serena Williams is like an ex of Drake, right? So, I mean, again, pettiness on a level that nobody ever could. It's incredible. Yeah, I like that drama. That was good drama. But after Not Like Us, he ends with TV Off, which I feel like is cool. Again, it's kind of a subversion of expectations, because I feel like you would think he would end with Not Like Us. But ending with TV Off is perfect because it fits in with his message here, right? And the double entendre, right? He's talking to Drake, right? Turn your little game off here. The little game's done, okay? We're done. Turn the TV off. And he's also talking to America at large at the same time, right? Turn the TV off. Turn the messages that are lying to you off, right? Search out the truth, find the true unity that is here on this earth, and not just what's being told to us, right? Who we're being told to hate, things like that, right? Turn the TV off. Also, he brought DJ Mustard out. And I mean, as a musician, this dude brought the guy who made the beat out. He brought the producer out That's awesome. Like, can you imagine? Like, people don't just bring the songwriter out in the middle of a song just to like be like, I'm mustard. I'm here. I did it. I did the thing. This is awesome. I'm part of this. Like, that is just so cool. And I really appreciated that. Like, just on a level of somebody who engages with the music and appreciates music, it was really cool to see that. So yeah, he plays TV off. He does his cute little wink to the camera, a little impy man, doing his little prankster wink, and the lights go out. The words "game over" come up on the screen. Right, you can see the PlayStation buttons. It was a really great show, super engaging from top to bottom. So ultimately, I think here's like kind of where things stand. If you're a Kendrick fan, he made this show for you, right? He made it for the Kendrick fans at home, watching on television. I think the way it was filmed is an integral part of the performance, right? So like if you were watching this at the Super Bowl, it would probably sound like crap in an arena, right? Because you're just getting all that noise bouncing off, right? Probably sounds just actually better through our TVs because we're getting a mix of more direct sources. But aside from that, obviously the visuals of what the camera can do and how it frames things really, really lends to this performance, right? When we're on the lower platform, the longer stretch, right? We have street lamps. We're like out on the street. We have the PlayStation buttons out there, right? But the people themselves kind of, as Kendrick is performing his hits, are forming like X's and O's across the field, maybe like a tic-tac-toe thing, right? Really leaning into this game reference. But I think, the dancing, all of this is accentuated. The performance is really enhanced by the camera, right? The actual filming of the thing. So I think that's part of it. I think the way that I look at this is, this is an artistic performance and the Super Bowl is the medium, right? Like when you think of a painting and a canvas, right? What is a canvas? It's a piece of cloth stretched across a wood frame, right? And that's the format of what you're creating upon, right? Whether you're putting paint on it and turning it into something or straight up mustard, right? You're creating something that can exist on that format, right? I think the Super Bowl itself is a format, right? You are in this field, right? You're not in an ideal space to actually put on a show to the people there, but you are in a unique situation to put on a certain type of show for people on the receiving end of the camera, and with a potential budget and all these things that make a spectacle out of what you're doing. So I really view it as that, right? I think people that kind of look at it as like, oh, I was in a stadium and it didn't sound good. Like, that's not really what Super Bowl performance is necessarily. And whether you think that's right or wrong, what it should be or shouldn't be, is subjective. The whole thing is subjective, ultimately, at the end of the day, right? It's impossible to define this as good or bad, but it was art. I think it was certainly art. I think it's hard to disagree with that. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. I thought this performance was so awesome. As a Kendrick fan, I think that's who it was made for. I don't think it was made to pull in a big audience of people and be like, welcome to my music. Welcome to me. I'm marketing myself right now and trying to get you to become a fan. I think Kendrick is probably more concerned about, taking the opportunity to create art in the format that he was presented with, and the format being the Super Bowl. So that's why I really enjoyed it. Aside from I like his music, so I did like the music as well. But I think if you took all of the music out and analyzed, the words, the text, the dance, the visuals, the filming, all that sort of stuff, there was really something to appreciate and enjoy there. So I want to know, what did you guys think? Did you like the performance or did you not like it? Let me know in the comments below. I've been Hellion.Vision. Like and sub if you like this video. We'll be back doing cool stuff again. Watch this one, watch that one, sub over here. I'll see you guys later. Peace.